Happy Wednesday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show. I'm Anthony Totri, joined as always, but for the first time this week, by big, pokey Shane Diefenbach himself. Shane, how you feeling, man?
Yes, I am, and I'm okay.
Feeling better?
Mm-hmm.
Just post-Vegas phlegm? No?
Oh.
That's not what it was?
Oh.
That's tough.
Oh.
That's tough.
Yeah, that is tough. Don't say
man.
that.
Sorry, man.
Bad.
Sorry. Bad. Well, okay.
Bad.
I'm not, you can't, not bad, Totri. Not like, you can't dog me like that. That's tough, man. We got a lot to get into today. Some interesting NIL stuff to talk about. There was also a really, really cool article about Kenny Dillingham and the way he kind of fixed, I guess is the right word, for Bo Nix and Jordan Travis, at least got their careers back on track and just the way he coaches his quarterback. So we're going to get into that in just a little bit, but I do want to start with the new NIL bill that was proposed by two senators with completely fake names.
Yeah,
okay, we got Joe Manchin, spelled man and then chin, and my personal favorite. I feel like you have to say this one.
Now batting, number 13, Tommy Tuberville.
There we go. Yeah, he just doesn't sound like a real person.
He does. He sounds like a guy that sells you saltwater taffy outside of baseball games.
Oh my. Did they do that?
I'm sure at one point they sold saltwater taffy. You ever had saltwater taffy, Leo? Have you?
I've tried taffy. What's the difference between them?
I mean, I think most of them are saltwater.
Taffy's pretty good. It just
taffy is good, but it's not like a snack you just pull out.
No. Like you're weird if you just pull out taffy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is super weird.
Like, can you imagine if you just pulled that out of your backpack one day?
And is it one of the little ones or like the big ones?
Big ones.
Well, they have big ones, buddy.
Big Taffy?
Yeah. Yeah, Big Taffy.
The suits,
great nickname.
The suits at Big Taffy are trying to suck you in.
Okay. Back to the bipartisan NIL deal.
Look, if you have a name Tommy Tuberville, we're never going to be on track.
That's fair. So the PASS Act is what it's called.
Has anything to do with passing the ball?
No,
football?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. But it would change NIL and the transfer portal, and it would change just so much, right? So I'm just going to read just a little bit of what it would do if it were to get passed. So the PASS Act would force boosters and collectives to be affiliated with a school. It would also prohibit NIL from being used as an inducement in recruiting and the transfer portal. It would provide coverage for sports-related injuries for uninsured athletes for 8 years following graduation from a 4-year university. Larger schools, Power 5 programs, would be required to pay for expenses even after athletes leave the school. It would require athletes to participate in financial literacy training. Uniform contracts would be required. And then this is the big one. If enacted, athletes would be prohibited from entering the transfer portal in the first 3 years of eligibility. And then there are some exceptions. So we're obviously going to break this down piece by piece, but I just want to start with the transfer portal one because given what we've seen in the last 4 seasons, I would say, in terms of college athletics from football to basketball to baseball, the transfer portal has become such a valuable tool, I feel like, not only for players, but for coaches as well, who trying to either put a program or put their career back on track. I feel like enacting something like this that would prohibit them from entering the transfer portal, at least after 3 seasons, would result in some serious issues for both players and programs.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to happen because of that. I mean, you took this huge step forward with not allowing players to basically do whatever they want, and there should be some sense of control. But I want players to have their full freedom. I want them to be able to do what they want. So this is just going back all the way back, and to the people complaining about this isn't what college football is, or this isn't what college sports is. This is ruining the landscape. This isn't for you. Yeah, it's entertainment, but this is for the players. The sport is not for you. It should not matter what you think. It should matter what the players think and what the players want and what's best for them. And this is not what's best for the players. Because if they go to a school being promised X, Y, and Z, here I'll give you an example. And this isn't anything with the transfer portal. But my cousin committed to a school. I believe it was UNLV, and then their coach got fired. And imagine if not even committed, but let's say you sign your letter of intent and you're there, and then your coach gets fired.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when you should be able to enter the portal, and that's why I'm so lost on things like this. I as I've said, I think there should be some regulations because it is pretty insane. The turnover is ridiculous, but at the same time, this, as I said, this isn't for us. Like college football games aren't for the fans that are watching it. It's for the players. Like there would be no game without them.
Yeah. It's a really unique bill just because it really does outline a bunch of different things, and it's not the first NIL bill to really try and change the way, or I guess add some guardrails, if you will, to what NIL and all that stuff really is. But it is one that, at least the first one that I've seen, that does really change the way that the transfer portal kind of works. And this almost is going beyond guardrails. This would completely alter the way college football, specifically in college basketball, I guess, is functioning, at least the way it has over the last 4 to 5 years. You look at players that Arizona State has managed to add in the transfer portal over the last couple of years. Guys like an Xavier Valade, a Jalen Conyers, an Xavier Guillory, a Messiah Swinson, like Ro Torrance. These are guys that would never be Sun Devils, at least until their final season of eligibility. And once you spend 3 years at a place, like it certainly changes the way things work. And then another part of this deal that I'm not necessarily totally, I like part of the ground rules for it, but if an athlete opts to, let's say, enter their name in the NFL draft, right, after 2 seasons, 3 seasons, whatever, you are still required to graduate from that university for the university to be responsible for any of those injuries that is outlined in the bill, right? Saying that the university would be required to pay, pretty much pay for the athletes, I guess, recovery or insurance, whatever, they're responsible for it. It wouldn't necessarily make sense for me if an athlete goes on to do that and then let's say they get hurt, a ridiculous injury, whatever, they haven't signed their NFL, NBA contract, whatever you want to talk about, and then they're just kind of left hanging out to dry.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the 8 years following is more for brain stuff. It's like that's at least what I read it as. Because you're not like if you break your leg 4 years into the NFL, that's not part of the school.
Yeah.
Like,
that would be crazy though if it was. I feel like, yeah, I broke my leg.
What is a uniform contract?
I don't know. I don't know what a uniform contract is, but the bill does not get into the employment issue, but some Democrats could push back against the uniform NIL contracts. Oh, I think what they mean is that like the way that the NIL deal operates now, kind of like the deals that we've had with Daniel Ngata, Josh Doan in the past versus the deals that, let's say, Elijah Badger or whatever has with like Burrito Express, right? When they say uniform contract, I think they're talking about it specifically being like, okay, this is the standard contract that if you are going to do an NIL deal with this athlete, this is what it looks like. You know what I mean?
So it has nothing to do with the jersey.
No.
Uniformity.
Yes.
Gotcha.
There you go. Nothing to do with the jersey. Be like, yes, it has to be a Nike or Adidas school.
I do love financial literacy training.
Yes.
That's huge. There are good things, but again, this just feels like a trade to me, and I don't like that. I don't like how that it's worded. Like this feels like, and excuse me if he's not, but this feels like a fan of the Razorbacks, Tommy Tuberville, who is an Arkansas legislature governor. I don't know.
Alabama.
Oh, I thought it was Arkansas. Mm-hmm. He was born in Arkansas, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, this feels like a trade, and it should never feel like that. This feels like we'll give you this, we'll give you this, we'll give you financial literacy training, we'll give you, insurance of injuries if you stay at our school for 3 years for sure. Like I don't like it. Feels a little scummy to me.
Yeah, I mean, we are talking about politics.
Yeah.
So
politics in the South, nevertheless.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that is still, I feel like, a ways away from getting passed, obviously revised, but it is noteworthy because there have been, several bills like this that have never really made it to this point. So it is certainly going to be interesting to see kind of what comes of this. I personally would like to just, and I'm sure they've done this and they've done it at least in the article that I read, in terms of getting thoughts from coaches, administrators, players. You gotta have just countless players. I feel like give opinions on this of all sports, all levels, because at the end of the day,
this is what it's for.
And it's not just going to be football. I know obviously college football is approaching, and in terms of all of the major collegiate sports going on right now, college football is the closest to starting. So I think anytime you see something like this, and really when people just talk NIL, I think they talk with college football at the forefront of it. But in reality, this affects college basketball. This affects college softball. This affects college baseball. Like, you have to get a little bit from everybody in terms of an opinion, and you're never going to make everybody happy. But I feel like when it comes to something like this that is so drastic, you have to at least try and make everybody happy. And I don't necessarily know if, again, the people on Capitol Hill are always that interested in helping college athletes and college coaches.
Or just collegiate, like, enrolls. People that enroll in colleges in general.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And, you know, I've brought it up a couple different times about this not being the first one. Over the last 3 years, there have been more than a dozen bills like this that have tried to reform college sports. And that's really what it is, right? This is changing the way that college athletics would function. And in my personal opinion, if the bill were to have to get, I guess, discussed or passed as is, whether it either gets passed or not, I am hands down on the do not pass currently.
Again, yeah, same. It just feels like it's too two-sided, and as weird as that sounds, it should be one-sided. It should help athletes, and that should be its main goal.
What do you think a bill, like, if you were to reform this in a way, what would your, I guess, revisions be?
See, that's hard because you want some form of control. Like, you want to kind of wrangle the portal a little bit, make it less like the Wild West, but you also don't want to take a lot away from players. I don't know, and that's why I'm not in that position because I don't have the critical thinking skills to be able to come up with something like that.
Yeah.
If you're going to put more restrictions around transferring, you can't take too much away from the players. So I don't know. I have no idea.
In part of it, right, they're calling it, this whole thing is a year-long effort that they hope, quote, strikes a balance between protecting the rights of student athletes and maintaining the integrity of college sports.
I hate that.
What do you hate about it?
I hate that word. I hate the
integrity?
Yeah. Well, I hate that phrase, the integrity of college sports. The landscape is changing.
Yes.
Jimmy Two Shoes in 1912 wasn't getting paid by Buc-ee's to run for a touchdown. Like, that's just not what was happening then.
Yeah.
Things have changed. Integrity, I hate that. It is so pretentious and stuck up and old money. It's just, I get what they're saying and I get what they're trying to say.
It's politics.
But the world is changing. Like, the sport is changing. The players are getting paid now. Integrity, my ass.
It's politics. And I hate.
I hate politics.
I don't hate politics. I just hate how scummy it is, right? I feel like, I know this is sports, but at the end of the day, it is still politicians trying to push their own agenda. So you can only trust something that they put out so far, right? And I feel like when it has to do with something like this, and you are no longer talking about like giant businesses and that type of stuff, you're talking about college athletes who they rely on, I mean, just something as simple as being able to do an NIL deal with like a small local business. They rely on that so heavily. So I don't really like it.
Yeah, Clinton, I just saw it. More Colorado Big 12.
Oh, goodness.
I already knew.
What is it?
Sources, Colorado is in discussions about a move to the Big 12, and the school has just completed a board meeting and scheduled another for tomorrow to discuss the move. The Big 12 is also holding a president's meeting tonight where there's expected to be an expansion update. Yeah. I've been saying for the past 2 months, they are 100% going to the Big 12. Like, it is happening. I think you're high if you think they're not. Like, look at the trajectory that they're on. They just hired the biggest name in college sports right now in a conference that can't house that, in a conference that isn't going to be able to market that efficiently. I'm not anti-PAC, but like, there's just no fix I saw that for a reason that Colorado would stay. I mean, this is one of the biggest money makers in college football, and he's only been in Division I college football for a year.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally fair. Let's continue then that conversation about Colorado and I guess expansion, conference realignment. But before we do that, I want to tell you guys a little bit about the BetMGM Sportsbook app. Look, I feel like I tell you this every single day, and it's because there's a really cool feature that they have on that app. It's the MLB free-to-play game. It's a literal video game on a sports betting app. It's unlike anything I've ever seen, and it's super easy to use, guys. Just log in to BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android, and then guess what? Play the BetMGM MLB free-to-play game from May 27th through September 7th, so you still got plenty of time to play. Be a batter and pick an area of the strike zone, and depending on the area of the strike zone you pick, you guys are going to get a single, double, triple, home run, or pop out and receive the prize associated with that type of hit. It's played just once a day. Pricing does have to be used on MLB and expires in a 24-hour period. Shane, is there anything you specifically like on the MLB slate today?
I think everything's already in motion. I liked Zach Allen over strikeouts. I think that already hit. D-backs -1.5. Just like betting on stuff.
That's fair. Absolutely fair, guys. If you like betting on stuff and you haven't signed up yet for BetMGM, use that bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live, but for our Arizona audience, guys, place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses with BetMGM again. Make sure you use that bonus code PHNX. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 Nevada. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Kansas, Nevada, New York, or Ontario.
Two favorite things in this world: betting on sports and eating food.
There we go.
And when you can do those at the same time, it is euphoria. I feel like I might transcend. I have to put a seatbelt on my couch when I'm eating Factor and I'm watching a baseball game while I'm betting on it, because I literally might get sucked up into the air by a higher power. And that's how good Factor is. Guys, if you haven't tried Factor yet, try it. It's so tasty. Leah just had one for lunch today, didn't you?
I've had one for lunch like every day for the last week, and every day I'm shocked how good they are.
Yeah.
Like because I try a new one every day, and I'm like, this can't be possibly as good as yesterday, and then it is, or better. It
is really, really good. And they don't just have lunch and dinner stuff. They also have breakfast. Guys, round out your meal and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of 45 plus add-ons, including breakfast items like our delicious apple cinnamon pancakes.
They have apple cinnamon pancakes?
Kidding? Are we serious right now? It is so tasty. They got so much stuff. And this July, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door. Ready in just 2 minutes. No prep, no mess. I've been using Factor for like 2 years. And it's great because you can do it on and off. You don't have to continue to, if you're going out of town, whatever, it's easy to pause. But it's so great. So it as a sponsor has just been amazing. They also got really good smoothies.
The smoothies are my favorite.
Yeah, the smoothies are great. They're not too sweet, which a lot of places get the smoothies wrong. They're a little too sweet. Factor is elite. I had one for lunch and dinner yesterday because I was out of town, and so I had to eat them before the next one came in. So I had one for lunch and dinner yesterday. Amazing. Head over to factormeals.com/PHNX Sun Devils 50 and use code PHNX Sun Devils 50 to get 50% off. That's code PHNX Sun Devils 50 at factormeals.com/PHNX Sun Devils 50 or PHNX Devils 50 to get 50% off. That's code PHNX Devils 50 at factormeals.com/PHNX Devils 50 to get 50% off.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about Colorado potentially moving to the Big 12. This, in terms of conference realignment, I feel like would be more interesting than the LA schools moving to the Big 10. And I'm saying that simply because you bring up Dion, the most polarizing person in college athletics right now. Obviously did not attend Pac-12 Media Day. You've got the fact that when the LA schools opted to move, they did it months prior to the season even starting. So obviously everyone had their issues with it, but it was something that people were discussing really months before you even got to Media Day. This would be, you've got 36 days till the season starts. You've got a school in the Pac-12 that looks like it's about to jump ship. Just a week after George Kliavkoff was asked about the Big 12?
It's July 26th.
He was literally, George Kliavkoff was asked about teams moving to the Pac-12.
I ain't worried.
Working with the Pac-12.
I ain't
or the
worried.
Big 12. Yeah, pretty much. I ain't worried. We got bigger fish to fry. Well, George,
get off the griddle and get on the phone.
Because you're about to lose another school. The Buffs.
Probably 2.
Well, who do you think the other one is?
I don't know. Probably 4.
Oh, you were just dissolving. Everybody just leave George at this point. I saw an article the other day that said if Colorado were to leave, because it's been, I guess, known that they're the favorite, I guess, to be the next team for conference realignment, regardless of the conference. What happens next in terms of the race for San Diego State? Because we saw the way that played out with the Mountain West.
That was so weird. They're like, we're coming. They're like, nah, maybe not.
Does the Pac-12 have to beat the Big 12 in a race to go get San Diego State?
Ha. That is a weird race. Maybe.
I feel like you have to. You have to? I think you do.
Snapdragon Stadium.
San Diego.
Valuable real estate.
San Diego State. Don't choke. No. San Diego State is the one team that I feel like has been linked to the Pac-12 pretty clearly for a while now in terms of conference realignment. It would be a giant slap in the face for the Pac-12 and George Kliavkoff to lose not only CU, but to lose their next best replacement in San Diego State. It would leave them like, we got duped. Like, that's exactly what it would be. And George would look like a jackass.
George of the jackass. Watch out for that tree. Watch out for the Big 12, George. Yeah, I agree. I mean, well, yeah, that's your only option. That's the only thing we've heard. So, yeah, you definitely do have to beat the Big. I don't know if the Big 12 was actively seeking out SDSU.
Well, if you add Colorado, you need to add one more.
I know, but I don't know. Well, I don't know if you do. I don't know if the Big 12 necessarily needs to. What are they at right now?
I think we played this game already.
They have so many teams. It doesn't matter.
They do have a lot.
They can be uneven. It's fine.
What does Colorado bring to the Big 12?
Shut the fuck up. Anthony.
What?
Anthony. I'm not answering. You
Come on.
Answer your own question.
It's just Dion.
It's just Dion.
It's just Dion.
Do we want to do this again?
Let's do it. It's just Dion.
Can I expose ourselves for a second?
Yeah, I mean, you can expose yourself.
Hold on a sec. Can I expose our show for a second?
Sure, I guess.
Look at the number of people watching.
No, yeah,
have you seen the number of people watching DNVRs?
No, yeah, that is very true.
And what happened before and after Prime? I mean, that's an in-house example. That's a very small example.
Yeah. People like Prime.
Yeah, a lot. So, Anthony, what does Colorado bring to the Big 12? Dion, Coach Prime, Sanders. And that's a lot of people that he's bringing with him. He's going down the Oregon Trail.
Going down the Oregon
Trail? Yeah, because did that go through Colorado?
I don't know. I think your geography's off there, buddy.
I think it did.
I don't think it did. I think you're wrong.
I think I'm wrong.
Good try on that, though.
I think I might be right.
I just...
we're... It did not. It went right above Colorado.
That was so quick that you mentioned Oregon Trail going through that, and she was on it.
Well, yeah. I mean, as soon as I said it, I looked at her. Yeah.
That's my job.
Yeah.
No, it went right above it.
Her job on and off the show is to make sure
that your trails
that my trails are correct.
Okay. Well, guys, if you find yourself on a trail, maybe stop at Circle K.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet the people on the Oregon Trail wish there were Circle K's to stop by.
Absolutely. They could use a Polar Pop. Guys, they've got
a bathroom.
They've got some phenomenal deals over at Circle K. You get buy 2, get 1 free Monster Energy drinks. You got some Beatbox hard teas. Buy 2, get 1 free. We know about those. We know how good those are. And buy Powerade at 4 for $5 and be entered. And you could be one of 10 finalists entered to win a 2023 Ford Big Bend Bronco SUV. Make sure you're not missing out on all the great stuff they have over at Circle K. Right now, text PHNX to 31310 to join their SMS subscriber club and get a buy 1, get 1 free offer on 32-ounce Polar Pops. Head to circlek.com/store-locator to find Circle K's near you.
Jason Shearer tweeted this, so take this with a grain of salt. But he said, Colorado is likely to move within the next 48 hours. Also, there's another school in the Pac-12 beyond the rumored four corners that will surprise people and is seriously contemplating a jump to the Big 12.
Stanford?
Yeah, something over there.
Something disgusting.
Yeah, but again, grain of salt.
Who do you think it is?
Oregon.
Really?
Yeah. It probably makes the most sense. It's probably the best school left.
Utah's the best school left.
No, Utah's the best school left for football. Oregon's the best school all
for
around.
Athletics, period.
Yeah. I mean, they'd bring more money in than Utah ever would, for sure.
Bo Nix and Shador.
Stop thinking about now.
Walking hand in hand.
Think about the Nike campus. That's why I think that they're the most sought after. My most sought after place is not Colorado or Oregon. It's Illegal Pete's. Actually, I think there are Illegal Pete's in Colorado. So go get your Illegal Pete's in Colorado if you're in Colorado. But they're not going to be Pac-12 Illegal Pete's for long. They're going to be Big 12 Illegal Pete's. And that might affect the taste, not because of Illegal Pete's, just because of
the Big 12.
You being in the Big 12. Guys, Illegal Pete's is so gosh darn tasty. They got piping hot queso. They got full bars, cocktails, beers, anything you want. Bowls, tacos, salads, burritos, nachos. Oh my, they're all so tasty. Illegal Pete's is your go-to spot this summer. Kick back and enjoy an ice cold margarita or cool off with a bucket of 5 high noons for just $22. And don't forget to follow @Illegal Pete's on Instagram to stay updated with all their big events and deals going on and going down this summer. Stay tuned on their stories to win free tickets to the concerts you're dying to see. Illegal Pete's is here to make the summer one for the books.
All right, before we move on to the Kenny conversation. Do you think, it's yes or no, Colorado is in the Big 12 by Friday?
By this weekend.
By the end of day Friday.
Yeah.
What were those noises?
I was thinking.
What's the noise you made? Okay. I'm going to say no. I don't think so. Not yet, at least. I think they get there. Maybe it's like Saturday. I don't know. I don't think they get. I don't think they get there that fast.
You're a jackass.
Yeah, I know. George the jackass. Remember? Here we are. Okay, let's have the Kenny conversation.
Here you go.
You tweeted this. You tweeted this article earlier this morning. So thank you for tweeting it because I clicked right on it.
You're welcome.
Like anytime Shane Diefenbach tweets something, I have to take a look at it. So got into this article. It's a really fascinating article on ESPN if you haven't seen it. And it just kind of details the way Kenny Dillingham really changed and transformed Bo Nix and Jordan Travis at the quarterback position. And what I find so interesting about it is not only the way that he works with his quarterbacks, but more so how he was able to take two quarterbacks that were on two completely different paths and kind of get them.
One got hermed, basically. One was hermed. I'm not kidding. He was hermed. He was Petrino'd, but he was hermed.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all.
Dude, I'd never want to be hermed.
Hermed?
Or Petrino'd. No.
Instead of served, you've been hermed.
You've been hermed. No.
Oh God, that's horrible. And it's just an NCAA violation.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
What was your favorite part about this article?
I mean, the quote the one quote that you put in that we needed to read, just read it. It's the best quote. Kenny Dillingham is a walking quote. Like he's like one of those things where you pull the string and he goes, waffle. You know what I'm talking about? Like it's a, I don't know.
I know what you're talking about.
But what do you call them?
I have no idea.
Quote machine?
It's just an action figure that you pull and it says like Woody. Like Woody. There's a snake in my boot.
Yeah, what's Kenny? This is Kenny?
Yeah, Kenny's
really
Kenny's like, I'm drinking water out of a fire hose. We're gonna have the most fun in the country. We're gonna work the hardest while having the most fun in the country. I just want good people. That's him. And then he also says
he says we live.
Wait, no, pull my string.
Oh, okay.
Pull my string.
You ready?
Hold on, not yet. Hold on, get away from me. All right, pull my string.
Okay.
We live in a microwave world. People want quick fixes, but in a microwave world, the food's not as good.
I loved the pause, but in a microwave world,
we live in a microwave world.
He's not wrong. Like I read this and I'm like, damn, he's like, it's a hell of a quote, but he's not wrong.
Kenny says things that makes me feel high. like when I read that, I'm like, yo, dude.
You fucked me up, dude.
I felt that, dude.
It's just.
All right, let me read that like in a normal voice. We live in a microwave world. People want quick fixes, but in a microwave world, the food's not as good. Unless it's Burrito Express. I heated up Burrito Express in the microwave, and it was just
it's phenomenal.
Good. But you put that shit in an air fryer, it might be even better.
The article is titled "The Art of Developing the Modern Quarterback: How Kenny Dillingham Transformed Bo Nix and Jordan Travis's Game." That sounds like it could be the title of a 100-page book at
That's
a minimum.
It?
Yeah, 100-page book.
Only 100
minimum.
pages?
Yeah, that's what I said. Minimum. Yeah, 100 pages. You telling me this is a longer book than that?
Oh yeah, this is 250 pages.
Yeah, they did it in 20 graphs. It's more than 20 graphs, 30 graphs.
Who cares?
It's a lot of graphs. It's a lot of graphs.
I really like one of my favorite things is when, that's not one of my favorite things, but one of my favorite types of stories is when a quarterback is confidence is broken, or a player's confidence is broken, and that was the missing piece. When somebody's game shattered because it was mental, like Markelle Fultz. They broke him. They broke that man in Philly. Things like that and comeback stories like that are so interesting to me because everything is so psychological in terms of that. Jordan Travis quoted saying, "I had zero confidence. The previous staff didn't believe in me, and I didn't think this staff would either, but I was wrong." Kenny is the ultimate instiller of confidence. A guy like Tua. That's why I like Tua so much. Jokes aside, going from looking yourself in the mirror and asking yourself, literally, do I suck, to being a Pro Bowler and throwing for the most yards and touchdowns in your career the next year because of a coaching change is so interesting to me. And that's what Kenny can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, there are some phenomenal quotes in this article. I highly encourage you to go read it. The one part about Bo Nix, and he wasn't lacking confidence. He wasn't lacking the tools. He was just more so, he just needed the right he needed the right coach to allow him to be Bo Nix, is kind of what it was. And they talked about how they gave him so much control at the line of scrimmage and really the offense, and he took care of it, right? He knew that he would have to take care of it versus a Jordan Travis, who you mentioned had the tools but really lacked the confidence to go out there and be a Power 5 quarterback. And when Kenny came along, and even when they started to believe in him, a really cool part of this article was Jordan still was super, super down on himself. And Kenny's like, okay, fine. I'm just going to be absolutely negative with it. And to a point where it was laughable, really, dude? And eventually he got there, right? Jordan Travis being a super, super talented and fun quarterback to watch. But I do want to read this part about Arizona State because I do think it's just as interesting and as fun, and kind of allows you to get a feel for what this quarterback room is like. So in the article, it says, in that quarterback meeting at Arizona State, amid his pop quizzes on basic math, Dillingham explained the rationale behind shifting a protection on a given play, when almost as an aside, he delivered a tough but fair assessment of his quarterback depth chart. Quote, "None of us are elite athletes in here," he said. "It's not your game. Don't play that game." And it goes on to really say that every quarterback, they have a different skill set, but I guess the answer to being a Division I quarterback is really the same. It's just how you get there, right? Just because the solution at the end is being a starting Power 5, or starting quarterback in the Power 5, I guess really the path to getting there is unique. And you see that with guys like Jordan Travis, Bo Nix. I think you'll see it this season with Trenton Bourguet, Drew Pine, or Jaden Rashada. So it's certainly a must read.
I also, you touched on it a little bit, but I also just like how different the situations were. One quarterback in Jordan Travis, he had to be like, "You're good," and the other one he had to be like, "Hey, let's I know you're good, but let's reel in the confidence a little bit."
Yeah.
I didn't want to knock it, but just wanted to show him that he can take these easy, short things. I mean, that's how Mahomes it dominated 2 years ago. Everyone started playing too high safety, cover 2, and he had to learn to just take the easy stuff. Everyone knows you can throw the ball 70 yards down the field on a dime. Everybody knows that. But what the defenses wanted to find out is if you could just take the short stuff. And obviously he tore up the NFL that year because of that. And that's what good coaches and good players do.
Yeah, I think this is an exciting article to read prior to fall camp.
Yeah.
Right. Prior to seeing the quarterback competition kind of unfold. And regardless of the situations, right? Looking at Jordan Travis's situation specifically, there are always going to be people that don't believe. There are always going to be haters. And when you have haters, you know what you do? You put on your Shady Rays and you block them out.
Block them out.
You could shop the entire Shady Rays collection at their brand new location, Kierland Commons, a full-stop shop for all things Shady Rays. If you don't love your Shady Rays, exchange for a brand new pair, return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use that code PHNX for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The Shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
A great retweet that I'll cover after I tell you guys about Four Peaks. Guys, Four Peaks, the tastiest beer in the valley, the tastiest beer in the world. And if you haven't tried Four Peaks, go get Four Peaks wherever you get your beer. Check out at Four Peaks Brew and at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. Teacher Tuesdays are back, and I think this is the last Tuesday coming up. Was that? That was last Tuesday. Well, they're not back. You got to wait until next year. Guys, sorry.
But Circle K does love teachers. Go to Circle K or go to, I think it's circlekforteachers.org.
Yeah.
Not Circle K. I'm losing it. Four Peaks for Teachers.
Fourpeaksforteachers.org.
I'm sure Circle K loves
Yeah, I'm sure they do
teachers.
too. Those are not mutually exclusive. And yeah, as I said, they just have a ton of different beers for each occasion. But you got to be 21 years old to drink Four Peaks, and please drink them responsibly. Ralph Hampson quote tweeted this or posted this tweet. George Klyavkov retweeted a at Pac-12 conference tweet saying the Pac-12 board of directors met this morning and authorized the conference to immediately begin negotiations for its next media rights agreement. That was the last thing Klyavkov ever tweeted, retweeted, interacted with on July 5th, 2022. So guys, remember, this shit sucks.
Oh, the Pac-12.
That is crazy. The last time Klyavkov did anything was like, yeah, we'll figure this out. George, that was a year and 21 days ago. Why have we not reached an agreement? I just want to be on the CW.
What's George's voice line when you pull his string?
We're not worried. Bigger fish to fry.
It's all burning down, guys. If you enjoyed the content, give us a follow at PHNX _Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony _Totri. You can follow the Big Pokey at Shane Deef.
I'm not worried about CU leaving as always.
And we will see you guys Thursday at 2 p.m. We're going to be talking Arizona State predicted starters. Guys, tune in and have a great rest of your hump day. But for now, peace.